It's Mari McInerney from Croaky here at the Climate Emergency Summit in Melbourne with a special guest here from the last panel discussion. Zali, could you just introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Zali Steggall, the independent member for Warringah.
Who got much applause really for who you managed to unseat at the last election in a climate audience that's to be expected. Last week was a momentous one for you on climate change. Can you just talk about what you've put forward?
Yeah, look, part of, for me, coming into Parliament, it is to try and break the impasse, try and find a sensible solution that we can find that common ground for everyone to come together. So I've proposed a climate change bill which puts into law the commitment this government is already committed to, being the Paris Agreement. So it puts into law net zero by 2050 and 5-year emission reduction budget periods so that we can reassess and plan and make sure we get to that target. We also need to have strong risk assessment of how climate impacts are going to impact so many areas of industry, regions, employment, our health, so many sectors, and then there is a component of the bill which is all about the risk adaptation and risk management plans. And when I say adaptation, this is not, we have to be resilient, but we cannot be resigned. So we have to move towards that mitigation aspect as well. So they are the key principles in the Act. It is not prescriptive. It is up to government to come up with a plan and opposition to put another plan up at the next election. But what it is introducing is a concept of locking in our long-term direction of travel and how we get there in terms of accountability and visibility. The key components of the Act are the objects of the Act, which is to keep global warming below 2 degrees and as close to 1.5 as possible, and the principles on how we should get there, being fiscal responsibility, good risk management, so short, medium and long-term planning, good employment plans. We need to be aware of what regional communities, what challenges they are going to face and how we are going to address that. We need long-term planning. The business sector needs long-term policy certainty to ensure we have technology readiness. And the health sector needs to be very upfront about the impacts of climate change and what risks and challenges we are going to face. We need to address them.
So what would you like? There's been some discussion about whether or not you're going to get traction with this bill, with Peter Garrett, I think, advising that you'll be lucky if they let you get a win. What do you want the health community to do to support this and further action on climate?
Well, I think every sector needs to speak up on behalf of its members, itself and the future. But the health sector in particular has already been leading the way. We have seen movement on climate, calling for health emergencies when it comes to climate impacts. But you can do more. Reach out to your network. Make sure we encourage people to go to climateactnow.com.au, where you can register your support for the Act and encourage your MPs and others to get behind it. It will act as a plebiscite. What the health sector can do is speak up on what are the risks, what are we facing, because we know, we've seen over summer that there's been a huge increase in air pollution. We've had days where our major cities have been shrouded in smog, kids going to school with face masks. That is not the future of Australia. We don't want to let that be our future. So the health community, I believe, has a very strong duty and responsibility to keep Australians healthy. So in that, we need to address climate.
Thank you very much, Zali.